now we have to go to Israel. Yes, we are qualified for the World Cup. We are in France. In Olympic, we have Toulon for 2024.
And this is recognizing His Excellency Ambassador Stanilas Kamanzi. Your Excellency, Ambassador Stanilas Kamanzi, the Rwandan High Commissioner to Nigeria, President, Ogoni Chambers of Commerce, Barinaze Note, President, Entrepreneurs Investors Forum, Rivers Entrepreneurs Investors Forum, Ibi Fribo Mano, esteemed personalities, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this is to welcome you to this all-important talk show and it is an investors launch, an all network with a theme bridging economic bridges across international frontiers. This all-important talk show, it's all about networking and it's all about understanding the peculiarities that the first leg, Nigeria and Rwanda, has. Once again, I want to welcome His Excellency, the Ambassador, the Rwandan High Commissioner to Nigeria, Ambassador Stanilas Kamanzi, the Deputy High Commissioner as well. And also permit me to also recognize other distinguished personalities here present. It is my great pleasure to also recognize the presence of Engineer Kiando Meniko Masari, who is a trustee of the Rivers Entrepreneurs Investors Forum. You're welcome. Barrister Franklin Peterside, who is also a trustee, Rivers Entrepreneur and Investors Forum. Permit me to recognize the presence of the Vice President of the Ogoni Chambers of Commerce and Industry, Engineer John Yowika. You're welcome and thank you so much. And the Chairman, who is also the Chairman of the Organizing Committee, presence of Alhaji Hamisu Mohammed Ibrahim, who was the State Coordinator, Federal Inland Revenue for Rivers, Akwa Ibom, and Delta States. And also, this is recognizing His Royal Highness, Mene Godwin Agere, Mene Boakami. Your Highness, you're welcome, sir. Of institutions in River State and other businesses here in River State, I sincerely welcome you to this great workshop. My name is Sheikh Mowolabi. I'll be one of the anchor for this ceremony, and also I have a very senior colleague who is also joining me together to do this, Mr. Blessing Wikina.
Thank you, Sheikh. Ladies and gentlemen, my colleague with baritone trained voice on the radio.
And right now, I'll quickly welcome the Chairman of the Organizing Committee to take us through some protocols and safety protocols, and also to let us know what we have in this facility and how best to make use of this arena and what you need to know. Please permit me to welcome the Chairman of the Organizing Committee, Mr. John Ogoni.
Thank you very much. And we have a child, the confidence there. Two confidences are there. The door is way down there. In case of any alarm, do not panic. Sit tight and wait for the next direction, which we don't pray for any alarm to that effect. Gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellency, you're all welcome. Thank you.
In fact, a launch hard network. But again, there are some very unique things we must observe, particularly when we talk about the Ogoni Chamber of Commerce, Mines and Industry, and Rwanda. A while ago, we were having a comparison between Rwanda and Ogoni. And we said there's some things that are very, very critical and are common. Ogoni is very fertile, and Ogoni is vast, Ogoni is quite rich agriculturally and has huge potential of feeding not only River State, but the entire South region if well explored the agricultural opportunities. I also know that Rwanda is rich in agriculture. Actually, my colleague was saying to me a while ago that Rwanda is so rich that they produce pepper and they're looking for where to export pepper to. Again, what are the opportunities that we can tap from a forum like this? How can the investors, businessmen, companies in Ogoni work together with Rwanda? Are there opportunities between the two stakeholders? Yes, there are numerous of them. And this is what this launch our business meeting will be looking at again. Again, there are very intelligent people in Ogoni, quite extraordinary businessmen in Ogoni who have even shown their capacity to move River State forward. And not to forget that this launch our business meeting is in partnership with the Rivers Entrepreneur Investors Forum, which has been pioneering investment, particularly when it comes to small-scale enterprises in River State. It has been on the frontiers of ensuring that the business community have a good atmosphere, not only to do business, but also open up the investment opportunity beyond the boundaries of River State to other parts of the world. And this is quite remarkable. And I know that in the course of this discussion, we'll be looking at other opportunities as well, particularly as we come together to put our heads together to network this forum. Once again, I welcome you, Your Excellency, and I welcome you, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. At this juncture, permit me to the President of the Ogoni Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, Barry Zaki Notte. Please let's put our hands together for Chief Barry Zaki Notte. Thank you.
Very important occasion. For me, it gives me great pleasure to Kigali, His Excellency, Ambassador Stanislas Kamanzi. I want all of us to join hands to welcome him. Can we? The protocol has been well established. So permit me to say, technocrats, businessmen, investors, you are welcome to this gathering. Now, in Ogoni, I want to say welcome. We say Odu or Oelua. These are just variants of the same thing. I welcome all of you to the maiden edition of the Business Summit being organized by the Ogoni Chamber of Commerce, Mines and Agriculture. We're here not to make speeches. In fact, I want to disagree with Sheikh when he said talk show. I don't want this to be a talk show. I want this to be effective. We should take home and have action plan on how to move ahead. Ogoni and indeed River State has great potential. We have everything you could think about. Now, on the Ogoni axis, for example, you have two refineries. You have a petrochemical complex. You have deep sea ports, One. You have an agricultural belt. There is an entire corridor that lies between Port Harcourt City and the boundary to the next state, Kwaibo. Beautiful, arable land. An economic corridor. We have rivers that run all the way, linking the Imo River all that way to Apajo, at the other end. Of course, it takes less than 15 minutes from Bodo to Boni. And you know the significance of Boni. Now, on the other end, we have Abia, we have Akwa Ibom, and we have Port Harcourt this way. You can see a location that is very, very central and good for business. So much has been said about agriculture. The Ogoni people are agriculture. They have arable land for agriculture. We have, of course, I've mentioned the river, so you'll be sure that we are fishermen too, and so on. So there is so much that can be said about the investment potential in the place. I have only a few minutes to talk about the place, and then I'm sure that in course of this conversation, we're going to talk about a number of issues. It's not meant to be telling you about Ogoni or not. It's an interactive thing. And when I'm talking about Ogoni, you can be sure that we're also talking about Rivers State, because it's only part of the state. But then there will be conversation on the subject, interactive conversation, so that all of us have something to say, have something to take home, and we can develop action plan on how to go about it. The theme of today's conversation is across international frontiers. Yes, we have what it takes to develop our economy and export what we have. Not just agricultural things. It could be the human resources, the abundant human resources that we have. We have things to bring in from other places too. So when we talk about a subject like building economic bridges across international frontiers, it is very apt for an occasion like this. Again, I thankfully welcome all of you for creating time to come here. There's a lot you're going to get. If you go through the program you have there, you will find that it has been structured in a manner that it won't take us too much of talking. One person to the rest, all of us will talk. And then within a short time, we are done with what we want to do and we go. Thank you and welcome.
Industry Minds, the Ogoni Chamber of Commerce, Industry Minds and Agriculture has said so much about the huge potentials in Ogoni land. And yes, indeed, Ogoni has a refinery, not that. And again, apart from the two seaports, there is the oil and gas free zone in Ogoni land. The last time I took account of companies operating 50 companies. But you see, in all of these, it is a little bit questionable that the statistics issued by the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics (NBS) showed that there was a very low foreign direct investment into River State in the last 2 or 3 quarters, which is pretty sad. Because we ask, with all of these huge potentials, with all of these facilities situated in Ogoni alone, why should we have very poor foreign direct investment in River State? Again, this is what a summit like this should be looking at, and this is why we've gathered together businessmen, investors, to be part of this summit. And we're so excited to also have our very own Rwandan High Commissioner of Nigeria being part of this. Please permit me to welcome, also for his opening remarks, the President of the Rivers Entrepreneur Investors Forum, who's been doing very well to galvanize the investment forum in River State. Ibi Fribo Mano. Please let's put our hands together.
Thank you, sir. Permit me to stand on the existing, already established protocol. I would seize the opportunity to recognize the presence of trustees from the Rivers Entrepreneurs and Investors Forum, recognize the presence of Your Excellency, the Ambassador to Rwanda, the Ambassador to Nigeria from Rwanda, and his deputy that came with him on his entourage. Just before I came up the podium, I was talking to my friend, the president of the Ogoni Chambers of Commerce, and I was asking him that it took out a lot of time to talk about Ogoni, so I will take our time to talk about River State. Yeah, but I'll start with a brief intro on what Rivers Entrepreneurs and Investors Forum stands for, of investors and entrepreneurs doing their business in River State, and that's basically what it is. And we've always felt, just like our slogan states, that it's driving the local economy. The Investors Forum, our aim is to drive the local economy of River State. And Reif had always focused on projects that would drive investment-related activities, be it in Ogoni and in River State. But it's as well important for us to draw narratives of what River State stands for. River State is a state, one state in Nigeria that was conceived around investments. You know, yesterday we were coming with His Excellency and he was asking, why is the city called Port Harcourt? And I said, well, I'll leave this one for today. The city was called Port Harcourt because it is coined out of the name Sir Harcourt. Now, Sir Harcourt was the first mayor of River State, and he was part of the people that conceived River State, and it was conceived around ports and was conceived around commerce. Now, Port Harcourt had its first deep water river port, the way it was called, in Nigeria, and that was way back as 1912. It took Lagos up until 1918 for them to have their own seaports up and running. As at 1915, we had the rail lines spanning from all parts of Nigeria, streaming itself into Port Harcourt Old Seaport here. And from Old Seaport, Port Harcourt, we were having commerce-related activities, imports and exports in and out of Nigeria. And I think if you ask me, that was the heydays of Nigeria, if you really ask me. So this is the city you're in, Your Excellency. So we say a very big welcome to you. Now, briefly, I will not take too much of your time. The African Free Trade Agreement is an agreement that was signed between African countries to drive investment-related activities in and within Africa. And I would say, without missing words, that this is a clear practicalization of the AFTA. Because we're here with His Excellency, the Ambassador from Rwanda. He's going to present Rwanda to each and every one of us. And the whole idea behind it, we shouldn't get it too mixed up. The whole idea is to woo investors to Rwanda and to woo investors from Rwanda to River State. That's the whole idea. And that's the length and breadth of it. So we should sit back and try and see where we could fit in and see how we could get the best out of this outing by His Excellency. So we'll yield the floor to His Excellency when that time comes. So I'll finally say thank you, Your Excellency, for making our time to be with us here. And I'll seize the opportunity to thank each and every one of us in this hall here for taking our time to be here. I say thank you.
I don't know between him and me who's God. Thank you so much, Mr. President. Your Excellency, it's just a click away. Whatever you want, Your Excellency, whatever we want. It's just a matter of a click away. Once again, we welcome you here. And since last night, His Excellency had a feel of Port Harcourt. It's music, it's nightlife, and the beauty of the songs which the president of Ogoni Chamber rendered. Have you heard him sing? I'm sure he can still sing for us today. Ladies and gentlemen, my pleasure now to respectfully invite His Excellency, the Rwandan ambassador to Nigeria, to formally speak to us. Your Excellency, please put your hands together for His Excellency.
And other distinguished leaders of the institution, the President of the River State Entrepreneurs and Investors Forum, the membership of those institutions institutions I've just cited, senior officials from the River State government here present, captains of industry, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and allow me to stand on established protocols. Let me start by extending to all of you my delegation's cordial greetings on this momentous occasion. We are so pleased to be in your midst today, and thank you very much for welcoming us so gracefully in this beautiful city of Port Harcourt. Permit me to register my special gratitude to Chief Barizanje Noti, who opened River State, Ogoni land, and Port Harcourt to the High Commission of Rwanda in Nigeria. So thank you so much for bringing us here and for permitting this connection to happen. We came here to build together bridges between Rwanda and River State. The effort is very timely, very much so, in consideration of the recent establishment by our leaders of the Africa Free Continental Trade Area to unleash to the fullest the potential Africa has to produce and to trade over our continent profitably, but also to be able to compete equally with the rest of the world. By the way, Rwanda is among the 7 countries that were chosen for the AFCFTA pilot trading. Therefore, we came to share with you good news as to how Rwanda is ready for that, is ready to play that important role in the spearheading of Africa, the potential to trade within and to trade with the rest of the world. Rwanda over the last decade has undertaken proactive reforms to make economic growth possible, including through creating a friendly investment environment for doing business for both national and foreigners. Rwanda currently ranks second in Africa in ease of doing business after Mauritius, and ranks 58th globally based on when you get to the current reports by the World Bank and the IMF. In concrete terms, let me share with you a few facts, just which I picked, and the list will be much longer. Just to let you know that it makes only 6 hours to incorporate a company in Rwanda. Rwanda has exemption of trading license tax for small and medium enterprises that start their business. Rwanda also provides a 7-year tax holiday for strategic targeted investments involving an investment not less than 50 million US dollar, and which also contribute to creating employment, but also for which investors contribute more than 30% in terms of direct contribution. Foreign investors in Rwanda are offered forex control, full forex control, and have the possibility to repatriate their benefits with no limitations. And in this regard, actually, Rwanda ranks 32nd in the Global Economic Freedom Index. Foreign investors enjoy a seamless and fast process in accessing construction permits. In the same area of construction, connection to water and sewage has been made very easy to investors, especially in dedicated industrial zones. Rwanda has improved very much the reliability of connectivity to electricity, mainly for manufacturers, owing to the increase of the capacity in generation and distribution. Investment opportunities in Rwanda are of very wide range, including the sectors of agriculture, energy, infrastructure, ICT, mining, construction and real estate, and so on and so forth. After I finish my remarks, my colleague Vianney will take you through a number of strategic flagship projects some of you may wish to look into for investment on their own or in partnership with other business operators in Rwanda, which is what our participation to this forum is looking forward to. Now, additional to those reforms that we have undertaken to make ease of doing business possible and attractive, Rwanda has other things to offer. And one of those I want to highlight is our unique eco-friendly tourism attractions that draw to Rwanda over 1 million tourists from all over the world annually. We henceforth take the opportunity to extend an invitation to you to consider visiting Rwanda at one of your next, whenever you get an opportunity, whenever convenient. You have an opportunity to sample many of our diverse sites, national parks, or other areas that offer unique scenic enjoyment, just to put that way. Now, complementary to that eco-friendly tourism I've just described above, Rwanda has also embarked on another pattern of tourism, which is to do with conferencing and event organization in Kigali, our capital city, or other places in the country. You might all be aware of the recently concluded Conference of Heads of State and Government, the Commonwealth actually, not the conference, but the Commonwealth Heads of State and Government meeting that convened in Kigali last month. And I'm aware that some of you were able to participate and witness how the success and the colorful character of that major event was made possible by the availability of high-end infrastructure, but also seamless and graceful service offered at various sites that accommodated the constituents of the event. I'm also aware that in this region there are families, organizations that once have embarked on trips to Kigali for a marriage, for birthday celebration, or to hold business meetings as boards or as prospective partners. So Rwanda is offering incentives and facilitation to that. And once again, as we connect, I would want to invite you to look into that. And the High Commission, we stand ready to keep assisting you and providing you relevant information. I want to say a few things regarding traveling to Rwanda. We receive requests or queries as to how a visa to Rwanda is acquired. I want to communicate to you that traveling to Rwanda is visa-free on arrival. So no fee paid, and all you have to carry is your passport to be stamped on arrival at first entry port. Second, traveling to Rwanda also means being able to fly, to fly there, to go by to use a flight that makes your trip enjoyable. And I want to assure you that our national airline, Rwanda Air, flies to Nigeria 3 days a week to Abuja and 4 days a week to Lagos. These, the status is actually the result of the consequence from the COVID pandemic, which to rationalize costs and other things and other necessary parameters caused to reduce, for instance, for Lagos, the day flights. When I used to fly to Lagos 7 days a week and to Abuja 5 days a week. So as we move on, as the situation comes back to normalcy, the airline will be once again resuming flights in line with the initial timetable. So you are all welcome to use our comfortable flights traveling to Rwanda and to East Africa, which is a bloc we belong to, as big as more than 200 million people. I know that the people of Nigeria, but that's the number of the people of Nigeria. But that gives me the opportunity to tap the potential Nigeria has, just to assure that it's replicated in East Africa where Rwanda belongs. When we talk about investing in Rwanda, we consider that bigger market, that connectivity to other countries, members of the East African community, which are Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, DRC now, Burundi, South Sudan, and then Somalia, and I want to conclude my remarks by thank you for turning up in big numbers, for discussion, for dialogue, like Chief Noti has mentioned. Feel free to ask us any questions, but prior to that, I'll give the floor to my collaborator, Yemi, to take you through those flagship projects that I did mention earlier. So thank you very much for your kind attention, and thank you for the fraternity.
And yes, indeed, Your Excellency, the Rwanda High Commissioner to Nigeria, Ambassador Standila. Let's put our hands together for him once again. And yes, as part of these business summits, there will be an interactive session. And during that interactive session, participants, distinguished and esteemed personalities here, will be free to ask questions. Questions bordering on how business can work between Nigeria, Rwanda, and Ogoni. I'm particularly excited when His Excellency said it takes 6 hours to have a business registered in Rwanda. And I think that is great. And also, when His Excellency also mentioned that in Rwanda, you can have Forex at the right rate, official rate for investors. That's quite exciting. And also, I know the one that will gladden the heart of businessmen and investors in this hall is the fact that His Excellency said there is almost constant power supply, or 24-hour constant power supply, particularly for the business and the industries in Rwanda. I think that's quite exciting. If we have that in Nigeria, I know investors will know what to do about that. But again, once again, thank you so much, Your Excellency. And look, just permit me to say, His Excellency has a very rich portfolio. So when we were discussing, we can actually discuss deep and wide. He was ambassador, was a permanent representative of Rwanda to the United Nations in New York for 2003 to 2006. And during his tenure, he was actively involved, amongst other things, in the process of peace building in the Great Lake region of Africa. He was also the chair of the African Group of Ambassadors during the consultation at the United Nations. And not only that, His Excellency was also a cabinet minister overseeing issues related to environment and natural resources. And I think this would excite particularly investors from the Ogoni axis. And Ambassador Kamanzi participated in numerous global forums addressing issues related to climate change, sustainable management of the environment, and natural capital accounting for sustainable development, where he played a notable role in related negotiation. And this is quite key for this forum. Once again, Your Excellency, well, thank you so much for taking time to address us. Permit me, Your Excellencies, esteemed personalities, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, to welcome the second Chancellor of the Rwandan Ambassador to further highlight possible areas of partnership between Nigeria, the Ogoni Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and the Rivers Entrepreneur and Investors Forum, the possible ways of investment opportunities. And we'll make this quite brief because in a short while we'll be observing a tea break. Permit me to welcome Vianney Rubukumba. I hope I got that right. Thank you so much for your
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. My Lord. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Your Excellence, Chief Note, the President of the Ogoni Chamber of Commerce Industry, Mr. Bob Manuel, the Livers Entrepreneurship Investment Forum President, all protocols observed, respective participants in this room, good morning again. Allow me to quickly go through, but I'm very sure the High Commission has given the narrative of everything. But I want also to bring to the attention of the room that our purpose in this platform as an embassy that is looking business prospectors, I want to classify my presentation in 3 key areas. One is the investment opportunities promotion, that is between our 2 countries. 2, if time allows, I will take you through the MICE initiatives His Excellency has just mentioned. And 3, it also covers the idea behind export promotions of our made in Rwanda products. So the document is big, but I'm just going through the slides. Slide, please. So basically, maybe to give you a picture, if you're going to invest in a country, I'm very sure it is very imperative that you have an idea of the country. So we can see our population size is still small compared to the Nigerian size, which by now we are seeing 12.6 million. But also, for your information, the planning is going on to carry out another population census. So we know our official language, being Kinyarwanda, French, English, and Swahili. Everyone is seeing the literacy rate. We can see our GDP per capita, where it stands as of now, 818. We have also been experiencing our GDP growth for the past 10 years, between 5.5% per annum. Please move. Of course, our currency is Rwandan francs. So one would say if you're trying to invest in Rwanda, what are some of the interesting stories? One of them is Rwanda being a fast-growing economy. In ease of doing business, my ambassador has told you how the fast-growing economy in Africa at 7.5 per annum, most improved nation in the human development according to the world. But we have also another success story of the low risk, where we see that it is being on hand in doing business, of course, after Mauritius, as we mentioned. So we can see it is being ranked first for government transparency in Africa, I think, which is very key when it comes to investment. Of course, gender, it's there. So we can also talk of the regional platform. When we talk of regional platform, it gives the picture of the market for the people in the room. So we are members of different regional platforms, including, of course, the East African community. We are members of the COMESA. We are members of the ECAS. So these regional platforms also gives an opportunity that is giving a hope for the market when you're trying to do an investment. Of course, with the new digital era, we see how Rwanda is ready to attract also investments in the digital sector, where we see ICT being ready. By fact, we see first in the ESC for network readiness, 5th in Africa, and a target of 95% 4G network coverage across the country. Next. Next. Basically, that one was showing how we rank second after Mauritius. Then investment improvements, what we call the conducive environment, and this is what everyone is trying to do. We've seen some of the incentives. Rwanda has tried to make business registration easier. We said it, where we say 6 hours. We have seen where it has made trading across borders easier, and this is in line with our theme, building economic bridges across international frontiers. We can see how it has made easier to register property and so forth. Next. So these are the 5 indicators of how environment friendly. 1, it is friendly in terms of business regulations. It is friendly in terms of multiple incentives for exporters and priority sectors. Of course, I will not go in the details because we have a room to share you these documents. It is also a friendly environment in terms of doing business because it has efficiently supported the process. Of course, these 6 hours we've been mentioning, it is about the digital transformation that facilitates the 6 hours in registering business. Commitment to foreign ownership, we have mentioned this. Next. Then we have also facts to show. First of all, these sectors contribute to the economy. We have services sector, we have industry, we have agriculture. So by figures, as you're observing there, we can see now services is turning almost to 50% part of the GDP. This is where we saw, of course, these tourism services, hospitality services, and all those sorts of services. The facts here, up to 2019, agriculture was at 24%, industry at 18%, which we are looking for many people to come up with manufacturing and other SMEs, but also not limited to other big industries. Next. We have seen also that Rwanda has played a role in connecting itself or positioning itself to Africa or to the world. I will not go into details, but when we come to a regional and international level, we have seen, of course, our leadership being part of this world rankings. We have seen the president chairing the African Union in 2018. We have seen our strategic initiatives, part of them you are following, that has been part of the strategic positioning across the globe. Then we have also a component of hosting major international events like the World Economic Forum and the Green Revolution Forum. So all these shows how we are trying to position ourselves across the Africa but also at the globe. Next. Next, please. Next, because this is membership, we are members of the East African community, we are members of the COMESA. Next. Yes, then one would say where we are uniquely positioned. Of course, we see that Rwanda has a border with Uganda in the north, has a border with Burundi in the south, has a border with DRC in the west, and has a border with Tanzania in the east. And as you're observing from the slide, you are seeing the number of population that contributes to these countries. So this simply gives you a picture of the market that as you invest in Rwanda or as you partner with Rwanda to have investments, you are also open to the neighboring countries. Next. So this is the major important part, and we want to just go through in the outline form because the details will come later. So one of the sector is the innovation and technology. So we have seen that we are trying really to position ourselves as an ICT hub, where we are seeing that the annual growth since 2006, Rwanda ICT has been growing to 11%, contributing as a target. We have also seen the strong government investment in the IT infrastructure. Next. So we have also a proof of concept. We have different digital platforms that proves this concept. We all know that we have the Zipline, and many of them who are in the ICT sector are aware of this platform, where World's first national drone delivery service, World's first drone regulation, and 10,000 deliveries by Zipline after 2 years of operation. So Zipline is trying to do a very good work in terms of facilitating transportation to health centers of some of the requirements. So we have also the Volkswagen as a proof of concept that is also operating in Rwanda. We have the digital health care, and we have currently the Rwanda's admission to electronic World Trade Forum. So all these platforms are platforms that really prove what the innovation and technology is all about when we are trying to invest in this sector. Next, please. Of the project, but simply I will say the Kigali Innovation City as a project under this ICT sector, it's a project worth the amount demonstrated, 315 million, of course with a number of details that can be shared after. Next. We have agriculture, which is very key to the land we are standing right now. So in agriculture, we have seen its contribution to the GDP now being 29%, 70% of the active population, an aim of additional jobs about 300,000, then also its contribution to the annual export revenue of about 150 million. Next. So basically, the people of Port Harcourt, Ogoni, Rivers, these are the outline of the agriculture investment deals that are present. We have the Kigali Wholesale Market, we have the Bello Flowers Limited, we have the Kigembe Fish Farm, we have the Gabiro Irrigation, we have the Gako Beef, we have the Seed Processing Plant. So, next please. The presentation has a very good details of the information, but the most key important thing is to see the project outline and the investment features. Investment need a total of 32 million through a phased development. You can see 16 million in phase 1, 16 million in phase 2. So basically these are some of the key high-end projects under the agriculture that investors or pooled investors can come together and tap in the opportunities. So you can also see the investment model, which is also very key in this context. The investment model involves both. It can be a private-public partnership or a fully private sector. So it's upon the way we understand the concept and then tap in. We have also the expected impact as you read through, and then some of the documentation that are available to document the investment in this project. Next, please. We have also the Bella flowers. We know that these flowers, we have some flowers that are being imported or exported to Nigeria or across Africa and the world. So, as an investor in this room, you are really highly invited and encouraged to tap in some of these projects. We can see it is a growing exporter of high quality roses, where we can see the investment features made up of 14 million through a phased development. You can see 14.1 on the 40 hectare of operation greenhouse. Then the most important part is to see the investment model. The investment model can be full acquisition or leasing model of the investment need. And then the expected impact. So it is upon this platform that we can see how we can tap into this project of Better Flowers. Next. We have notified that we are a fish growing area in this area. So we have what we call the Kigembe fish farm, where we are looking for investors who can tap into these opportunities, where we are seeing that the sector involves fish farming, processing, and marketing. So it is in this platform you can see that investors interested in this area can tap into to make sure that they take the opportunity in this area. Next. So still in agriculture, we have the irrigation project, the Gabiro irrigation project. We have its investment features, the current investment model, and then the project characteristics. Development of a fully irrigated commercial farm to be available through lease or farming investors. Next. I'm trying to be so quick so that we maintain time. We have also the Gako Beef Project. The Gako Beef Project, we consider the investment is an integrated meat processing facility. We have investment features, integrated operation including livestock farming and value addition, and then we have the expected impact, job creation in the farm, export opportunity in the region as we've seen. Then we have the documents ready to detail about this project. But still investors who are interested in the trading of this beef can also tap in with more details regarding this project. Next, please. So we can see now the investment area we are being demonstrated, the farm, the description that involves also cattle restocking, the slaughterhouse, the tannery where the skins and hides are being worked upon, and also the rendering. So you can also see that it is a project that has got different areas of interest that of us. Next. Seed processing. Seed processing, we see that it is an investment in existing seed processing plant. Project characteristics, I'll read it because we are into agriculture. It is located, of course, in the special economic zone. We can see the annual capacity of 10,000 tons of one shift in 8 hours per day. So we can see if we go to the investment features, the logic behind is import substitution of 5,000 tons of certified seeds that have been imported annually, and an export of opportunity of 5,000 tons, because then the most important part is the investment model, which is full acquisition or PPP. Next, please. Then we talked about the tourism. So we can see in tourism, there's many projects. You can slide to the next. Yes. So we can see now when we talk of tourism, we can see that we have conferences, the MICE that we've been saying, where we see that we have forums that have taken place. We have forums in 2017. So it is also in this platform of tourism under MICE that has been spoken, meetings, incentives, and events where people can organize forums in Kigali or in Rwanda, so that they can also work on their agendas. Part of the forums that have taken place, we have the African Union Summit, the Transform Africa, the Africa Investment Forums, and also the one that we have just currently hosted, the CHOGAM. Next, please. So we have also potential investment opportunities in this sector. Tourism and high-end real estates. We have the opportunity of coming up with a hot spring eco resort. We have the Rubavu Hotel Strip. We have the Karongi Lakeside Resort. Next. So basically, this is a snapshot of the hot spring eco resort. The details behind it, where we can see the scope and objective of the project, the features of the investment, the technical aspects. And when you see the opportunity details, the resort will take the advantage of natural hot springs on the site to create unique experience. You can see the resort is on 12 hectares of land and so forth. So basically, 40 million estimated for the hotel construction, and the financial model can be confirmed through negotiation. Next, please. So we have also the Rubavu Hotel Strip, which is standing at an expected cost of construction for 3 hotels. Then also the financial model to be confirmed through negotiation. So we have also the scope and objective of the project, the financial aspect of it, and then the technical aspect of it. Next, please. So we have also the Karongi Lakeside Resort, which is at the estimate by that time when this paper is being developed at 26 million estimated for the hotel construction. We can see the scope and objectives of the model, development of a deluxe resort, 45-star on the available land. You can see the investment future, where we can see that the resort will be on this 3.7 hectare currently owned by the government. And then we can see that the concession subsidies can come from the government. Then the technical aspects. Next, please. So we have also in the sector of mining, from agriculture, from tourism, from ICT, we have also a sector in mining. So we can see how we see annual growth in mining exports since 2010, totaling to the amount, and also the target in 2024 of 1.5 billion. So we are more in 3Ts. Next, please. The 3Ts meaning the tin, tungsten, and tantalum. So basically in mining, these are the major areas where we are so focused. If any investor is really interested to be part of these investment vehicles, please, you are highly welcome. Next, please. Next, this is the details. Of course, that's lithium, tantalum. So basically on investment opportunities, that was it. So if you allow me quickly just to share you on mice, quickly. Yes. So basically it is very short. As we've seen in summary for investment opportunities, it is in the 4 major areas where we saw ICT, where we saw mining, where we saw agriculture and tourism. Then we have seen Rwanda being now a tourism destination, but still people can make business out of it. So what is this initiative? Of course, this is the location of Rwanda. Accessibility, you can see we have the airline that is flying now close to 30 destinations. We have places where we see. So on country highlights, which is very key, you can see visa upon arrival, and it has been mentioned. High level of safety and security, it has been mentioned. business friendly, it has been mentioned. Exceptional clean city. When we are hosting these conferences and events, of course, you need to work on all the needs. Then we have seen that Rwanda ranked first in Africa. Of course, that's during COVID. Presence of an active convention bureau. That is the institution, the Rwanda Convention Bureau, an institution which is responsible in harnessing and working on the hosting of these events. Zero tolerance to corruption as a country highlight. Ninth best place to be a woman globally. That's the Global Gender Gap Index. Then 15 out of 20 government place in the world. Greenest place in the world. So destination credentials, we see being members of the International Congress and Convention Association, member of the Society of Incentives Travel Excellence, member of the Global Association of the Exhibition of Industry, member of the International Association of the Professional Conference, strong public and private sector coordination. Of course, major conferences, these have been prevailing for those who have been following. These are conferences that have been held in Rwanda between 2015 and 2020. Part of it is missing, it's CHOGM, because this document was used before CHOGM was held. But we have the Economic Forum, we have the African Unit Summit, we have the International Conference on Family Planning, we have the ICASA, we have the CEO Forum, we have the AGRF, we have the BAL, where we've seen our Nigerian friends being part of this Basketball Africa League. We have the FIFA. So basically, this is a snapshot to show that whoever is in the hospitality industry still has a very big advantage of tapping the opportunity to host a conference in Rwanda. Next, please. So basically, the meeting venues. To some who have traveled there, we have big meeting venues. Part of it is the Kigali Convention Center. Of course, with the details, the capacity you can see. We have the Intare Conference Arena. The capacity is big. You have the Kigali Arena where these events are being taken place. Next. So on other venues, we still have other venues that play a big role in tourism attraction and business behind it. We have the golf course in Kigali, and we have the Gahanga Cricket Stadium. So it is from the peoples of the Liver State or Ogoni State or Port Harcourt that you can organize members to go and carry out their activities. Can be leisure but into business. So hotels and conferences is just to share extra. Many of you have been there and you know them. Marriott, Serena, Ladson, and Mill Collins. So we can see accommodation. Our hospitality industry can still accommodate up to 10,000 people, and you can see the breakdown. Next, please. So if you are there, you can have a remarkable before and after an experience. So we have the volcanoes as part of it. Though we are attracting businesses, but we are also attracting tourists. So please, you can also visit. We have the primate hiking paradise. I'll be interested to know here, and I'll also visit. This is one of the primate and hiking place. Then we have the Lake Kivu. Then we have the cultural heritage, our museum. Next. So basically that's it. But we have also an unrivaled incentive experience of high-end resorts. We have one-on-one Gorilla Nest. We have the Singita Road. So basically these are unrivaled incentives that are in part of our country in Western or in the North. So it's also an idea just to have about the information behind this hospitality industry and the tourism industry. Yes, so these are some of the highlights of what the institution that is in charge do. So it engages and creates linkages with the local and private sector. It provides advice, facilitates in-site inspection, delegate boosting support, negotiate discounted rates. That's some of the parts of the Rwanda Convention Bureau that it does. When you are into planning these conferences, we link you with this institution and then you carry on different arrangements to ensure that your business is taken into consideration. Next, and I think it's the last. So basically, this is the video. I think time has gone. I would love to share it, but we will share it through the documents. And it's now the video that gives a summary of what is with industry. So I want to thank you for your attention and patience. Thank you once again.
Reif is the treasure base. Yes, indeed. Your Excellency, the President of Ogoni Chamber of Commerce, Mines and Industry, and the President of Rivers Entrepreneur Investment Forum. The tea is served, and we'll be having a tea break, I think 10 or 15 minutes. Yes. And we allow the Rwandan ambassador and his on the table to first have a serve of the tea, and thereafter the ushers and the organizers will direct the table. Again, we have a tea break for just 10 to 15 minutes. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Yeah, thank you. Just in is the President of the Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, Chief Mike College. So you're welcome. Came in company of welcome. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, tea is served, chopped down already.
So we allow the ambassador and the high table to have the tea break.
I think it's everyone.
And later on, the ushers will direct the tables so as to proceed for the tea break.
Thank you. Interaction continues between you and any other person.
Yes, yes. The point.
My brother, suddenly we're meeting. Yes, yes.
In 2025 in Rwanda. So just let me tell you to boost even your things. But anyway, it's good this type of summit, this type of meeting, because there is a way even to interact. So there is a win-win situation in the sense that both Rwanda can win, but even Nigeria as well, because you can see in a model can be replicated and vice versa. So there is even a two-way to be a potential, involvement as investment and whatever, that it can be attractive. So for that reason, I believe this is a very well welcome, this type of summit, because it's giving opportunity to know other places in Africa, and even to see the potential and eventually even a replication. And as I say, they can be for both sides a way to even enhance and harness business anyway. That is even is giving a good, a positive even way for both sides. So I thank you of even this opportunity, and I believe that it will be even there will be produce result that will be, as I say, positive for the two sides. So I believe that these type of things have to be encouraged even more. So thank you.
Taking the back seat. I could remember a couple of years back, the Rivers Entrepreneurs and Investors Forum with our developmental partners, the European Union, the African Union, and indeed the ECOWAS. We were pushing for the signing of this free trade agreement in the past because we saw the potentials. If we could trade within ourselves as Africans, we'll definitely stand a better chance to doing better. You know, when the ambassador was delivering his keynote and his deputy reading out those facts, what immediately popped up for me was the fact that it was always going to be easy for an African to decide to invest in a sister African state. It's always going to be easy because we have issues around culture shock, which a European would find strange, but an African would not have an issue with it because of our culture. So on that note, I felt this gathering, this August visit was very necessary. Now, I don't know if some of us took our time to follow through some of those high points that was raised. And for us, from the point of view of the Investors Forum, issues around investment is always key to us. And some of the issues that was raised that I would like us to just gloss through, or I'll just gloss through, is the fact that it takes you just 6 days to set up in Rwanda. 6 days. 6 hours, you said, even better. 6 hours, unbelievable. So you can imagine if we could get our policymakers to up the game, it's going to be a win-win for us as investors. And what is just demonstrated here is simple. What is demonstrated here today is the fact that investors are being sorted after all around the world. So the onus is actually left to us to decide to be competitive. It's a decision that we must all have to make as Africans. Because if we're competitive, then such flow of funds would definitely flow into our cities, our states, our country. You know, so that's basically what it is. So for me, without going too far, I would say that the Rwandan delegation led by His Excellency would have definitely gotten one additional investor from this discourse we're having. Definitely. I had a discussion with a friend of mine from well, let me not mention the location, from somewhere. And we're talking about international partnership company, and they do something very similar to what we do. And they're looking at sharing markets. And they picked out what we do, and they wanted us to partner in Africa. And they were like, we had this discussion for quite some time, and it got to the point where we're trying to agree on where we should try out that partnership. And what came out from them first was Central Africa. Central Africa, and where they were looking at was Kenya, and interestingly, Rwanda. I didn't mention this to His Excellency, but those were the two markets that they were looking at. And this is not quite 2 months. Now here I am right in front of the Rwandan ambassador, trying to woo investors to his country. Thank you for taking our time to do that. But the call goes out to our own counterparts, our own emissaries, our own ambassadors. We need to take a cue from what we're experiencing today. Because an ambassador is the first line marketing officer of each country wherever they find themselves. And this is a classical case of that being demonstrated here right in front of us. And he had done very well at doing that. So without taking too much of your time, I'll say thank you for giving us this opportunity to be in here with you. And you could be rest assured, this discussion is not just going to stop at this meeting room. We're going to take it one step further. In fact, we're actually going to invite you to one of our facilities in Port Harcourt. So we'll play host to you there, and you see how serious we intend to be today. So thank you, and thank each and every one of us for being here. I think every other person has been acknowledged, so thank you.
And once again, thank you so much, the President of Rivers and Terminal Investment Forum, Forum. Your Excellency, this is welcoming the President of NASIMA, and we are very glad to have joining us, Mr. Ide John Udiambala. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us, the President of NASIMA. Please let's put our hands together for him. Thank you so much, sir.
With all due permission, sir, I will start the introduction once more. My boss is here, so I cannot take it by the wayside. My President, you're welcome. Mr. President. You're welcome, sir. You're welcome, sir. Thank you. The Rwanda High Commissioner, the President of Assembly, and the president of Ogoni Chamber of Commerce, the president of Rivers Investors Forum. I want to congratulate you two, as Ogoni Chamber of Commerce and the Rivers Investment Forum, for this roundtable clinic you have done today in Rivers State. This is what we have been expecting. We need more of this. I want to thank you for doing it, and at the same time, we went as far as bringing the ambassador of Rwanda to Port Harcourt. That is the new destination of economic investment in Africa. We want to thank him for coming. Unfortunately, due to exchange of time, I couldn't be here early to see the presentation. But from what every person is saying, I don't think it's short of praise, because I know what can come out of Rwanda. That is the new Africa, the new reference point in Africa. And go to the line. But for bringing the High Commissioner here and also organizing this in partnership and in relationship with Otago Chamber of Commerce, I think we can do more of this. We can do more of this. What is happening in Abuja, what's happening in Lagos, I think Otago should also. So thank you for this. It's a beginning one, and no matter how it is, I thank God for it. Good organization. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you.
The Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, noted. The President, Entrepreneurial Investment Forum, Ibifri Bob Manuel. The President of Port Harcourt Chamber of Commerce, the host and father chamber. I'm sure you are very happy today that in your domain, various chambers of commerce are coming up. Congratulations, a good job. He deserves a round of applause for that. The Vice President of Ogoni Chamber of Commerce, Chairman Organizing Committee, His Royal Highness, I can't read, Mena Apero. Sorry for this pronunciation. It's not my reading of masses. Okay. And Chief Executive. All right. I want to recognize the National President of Nasima, Honorary Chief Nabil Saleh, who is the immediate past President of Port Harcourt Chamber of Commerce. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I have a prepared speech, but I am so happy to be here today. The prepared speech is so formal. I don't know whether I will discard it to tell you how I feel. It is not only that Port Harcourt is the venue supposed to be the investment capital of Nigeria, given the status of Port Harcourt. But we also know that Ogoni has its own advantages, given the investment opportunities in Ogoni. Despite all that we know, Ogoni will come to rise again. Amen. And for that to happen, they need a Chamber of Commerce. Now you now see why I said I am very happy that this is happening. This is the beginning of so many other good things to come to Ogoni and then Rivers State as a whole. Listen, we were just in Shogun, not up to a month ago, where the whole world leaders gathered in Kigali. It was a wonderful scene to behold. And for the ambassador to be here, we would all also visit you back in Kigali. But it also shows that if nothing, as the president of Ogoni Chamber of Commerce, I hope you will replicate what we saw in Kigali. My dear people, give me 2 minutes to tell you what I felt when I visited Kigali. I was so particular to see the amount of foreign investors falling headlong to be in Kigali. And I'm like, what is the secret? One-on-one with the drivers of the economy in Kigali. And it is just leadership. Visionary leader for Kagame, whom you will think that he was a rebel leader, but have come to prove that Africa has men. I doff my hat for him. Now I want all of you to pay attention to this. I went to the Genocide Museum. That's why I said I want to discuss this speech, because it didn't relate to what is happening today. You know, when you are at the head of an organization, the sad people would give you a speech. When you are reading it, you are very unhappy. I went to the museum. Halfway, I broke down. I couldn't continue I wept. A lady that was attending said, oh, no, we've all reconciled. Don't cry, you are bringing these things back. We are healing. Because I read a story of a small girl who said the army person or the person that killed the parents used to come to their house and they eat. And he was asking, Uncle, what did I do? Bam, but she survived. After killing the parents for nothing, because you say you are Hutsi and you say you are Tutsi. So I shedded tears. And the lady was comforting me. Stop crying. We are healing. We've healed. We are healing. And now, what came to my mind is, are we going to ever be healed in Nigeria? Yes. That's why I said I didn't want to go on this speech. For Kagame made it so much. He said, on the street, if 2 people are fighting, police will come and arrest 2 of you. It doesn't mean, he doesn't want to know who is at fault. Because he wants brotherhood. And now when you ask, where are you from? If you say you are Tutsi, you are arrested. You are only a Rwan. Why can't we be for Harvard? Why Ogoni? Why Ikwere? Why this? This was the biggest lesson I learned, and I shedded tears. People that lost their parents were telling me that they are healing. I went to 3 of those cemeteries. And by the evening, when we were in the dinner, I called one of our ministers. I said, did you go to the museum? He said, yes. I said, what did you see there? He couldn't understand where I was going. So I want to make it short. Brothers and sisters, we can replicate Kigali here, starting from Ogoni, Elenu, everywhere. Let us all be one. That's the only way investment can come. That's the only way Port Harcourt can thrive. I don't want to talk about Nigeria. Let charities begin at home. I told Chief Notte, he knows. I said, as national president, I'm so busy, but I have to come to Port Harcourt. I must take the first flight. And I want to come here and deliver this message. That is only through brotherhood, love, forgiveness, that business can thrive. Only the person that went with me to Kigali went into the gutter and said, take picture. I said, why? I said, is there any gutter like this in Nigeria? And I took the picture. No, I'm not joking. Rwandan Air is being operated by Qatar Airline. I went to see the contract. Because I'm a businessman. If I'm looking for investment, I want to see what the investment is. Why would Qatar Airline come to take a Rwandan Air? Then I noticed that every other person going to Dubai from Lagos stops in Kigali. The flight comes from Dubai to Kigali, early hours in the morning, 9 o'clock. The flight leaves Kigali to Lagos by 3. So what I'm trying to say is that when we put our hearts together, we will do better. That is the only thing I'm saying. If there's anything I want to preach here, take this message to our leaders. Tell the governor that the president of the chamber came here and said, no more war. Let us all be one as brothers in order for investment to thrive. That is the Rwandan experience. That is the gift that Rwanda gave to Africa. During trouble, the football for Qatar was unveiled in Kigali. The president of FIFA unveiled it in Nigeria. Kigali, you don't play. Who plays in the Premiership? Kigali. And I was serious. He laughed at me. He said they will play. They have a different sport, but we came here because we love the peace here. So during that, he now kicked that official football of World Cup, and one lucky man held it. What also does it signify? To unveil the football of World Cup, color and everything in Kigali. You may not be following me. I went to the Volkswagen plant in Kigali, being assembled there. So, why can't Port Harcourt do more? Extend. The ambassador, yes, you are here. We will make sure with Note and the Port Harcourt that we exchange and have MOUs so that we can get this relationship built so that we can move more. And Kigali is a very small country of 1,000 what? Hills. What mountains? What I say is, when you say 1,000 in Kigali, they say mountains because it's surrounded by hills. But here, you have a tableland moving into the ocean. So we have a lot to be happy with. I beg you, don't tell my people that I didn't read their speech. I have to give you that so that you can see what is said here. It's all about investment. And I want to commend the leadership of Ogoni Chambers for successfully putting up this meeting. You have the responsibility. I want to say before this meeting here. Port Harcourt is a big city in Nigeria. Let's forget the oil producing status. But by all means, it's a big city. And knowing the old Port Harcourt and the new Port Harcourt today, whereby you transverse on a flyover. Please give a round of applause for ourselves. Go and tell the people who said flyover, flyover, flyover. They don't know what they are talking about. This is futuristic. It's going to make businesses thrive and the ease of doing business. So I must congratulate the governor of the state for these visionary actions. Mr. President, I would request of you to expand this relationship beyond Ogoni so that our business people can benefit from this. And for those of us who want to invest, go to. Thank you so much.
A bit of cultural entertainment. This is a land of culture, and we have beautiful cultures, and we'll be having a short cultural presentation. After that, we'll go straight to the interactive session, where we would allow all participants here, your esteemed guests, to ask questions. But first, we would have this group photograph, and on the group photograph, we'll have His Excellency and the High Table, and we would have maybe about 2 or 3 and other people joining us later on. May I ask His Excellency to please, can we have the ushers? We need to rearrange this podium. Please, this flank needs to move now. Thank you so much. Please put your hands together. Put your hands together. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Please put your hands together. Now, Your Excellency, that particular music, Your Excellency. Now, I know Manga and Koanko want to say something about that one, but it is specially for royalty. And in Ogoni land, we dance with our waists. Yes. Though the young people have modernized it, they're introducing a little bit of hip hop to it.
Well, that's the whole essence of building bridges across international frontiers.
But really,
culture is no longer static.
Yes, but really, we dance with our waist in Ogoni land. I'm waiting for one day where Oga Blessing and I will go to waist dancing competition.
The essence of the waist dance is that you must bend down to show that you owe allegiance to the soil. We are farmers, and our potential, our richness comes from agriculture. There is no school that teaches it. You grew up learning it. You grew up acquiring it. You grew up practicing agriculture. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, the interactive session, and I'd like to hand over the microphone to Madam.
Now, okay, yes. Your Excellency, we have the interactive session going on, and we have some couple of questions here on the paper. Yes, Madam, please.
Yes. Thank you very much. This is a wonderful program, and I'm so happy to be part of it. I have carefully followed through the Kigali program, the Kigali example, and it's very wonderful. However, I'm just wondering, how can we replicate this in Rivers State or in Nigeria?
We'd like for you to introduce yourself.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm just wanting to ask my question. I'm Dr. U.G. Gabriel Akaniwo. I am a member of Rivers Investors and Entrepreneurs Forum.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. So back to my question. So I want to know how we can replicate this because it's so wonderful. And I have observed that Kigali has been able to establish structures, systems, processes, and this is championed by government policies. In addition to the government policies, is leadership. Leadership is there, is embedded, and which promotes the ease of doing business in different stratas of their economy. Now, coming to the Rivers State situation or the Nigerian situation, I want to first of all thank the executive governor of Rivers State because he has set down some processes. He has done certain things, put certain processes on ground, like in the educational sector. We all know that our universities and academic institutions in Rivers State are not on strike. So I want to commend him. And then the structure, the flyovers and all that, it's part of ease of doing business. But we want to go beyond this. To get into parastatals, like the Rivers State Internal Revenue, the registration, CAC, the Corporate Affairs Commission. How can we ensure that registration of business takes place, shorter, within a shorter time? How can the tax system, how can the policies set down for businesses to strive. SMEs. How can we have processes, procedures, structures, policies that can help to ensure that these businesses thrive?
Thank you so much, Dr. Kano. Let's stay for her. Now, yes, just in line with that, I would also want, because we have a question, we have two questions here from an anonymous source here, want to remain anonymous, and this person is interested in how Rwanda achieved a very clean city. And I know why this is happening, I know why this question is coming up. We are fighting the war to achieve a clean city in Port Harcourt. So again, the question is saying, what did the government do to make Rwanda one of the cleanest cities? And again, on the issue of power, and that's another key one. Actually, before now, while you were talking about the population of Rwanda, my guy and I were saying, Rwanda, Lagos is even bigger than, the population size of Lagos is larger than Rwanda put on. The population size of Kano is larger. But again, can we really have a cleaner city just as we have in Kigali? What were the things you did? And we'd like to know that. Maybe His Excellency will answer, and also we may also want the second councillor to also chip in something. Your Excellency.
Well, it's a very difficult question to answer too, especially in my position as I will try to speak for Kigali. It's about setting policies and implementing them. Setting policies is always driven by a mindset. You understand? Part of the transformation Rwanda chose to undergo was that there are things that are within our capacity to achieve, things that don't require much resources to be, as opposed to infrastructure, education. Those are sectors that require a lot of investment to be put inside. But cleaning a neighborhood doesn't necessarily require much money. It's about rejecting the how do I put it? Rejecting this state of mind that you can make do with dirt, with dirt and disposal of undesirable things along the road and so on and so forth. To start with that, it doesn't require much, much resources to achieve it. And let me tell you how the implementation of that change in mindset started. We organized, under the drive of the government, we organized community works once the very first Saturday of the month for each citizen to participate in that effort, to remove any refuse that will be around in the neighborhood, to educate each other about disposing that and so on and so forth. And then gradually it became like a culture. It would be shocking, for instance, in Kigali, if you emptied your water bottle and threw it on the street. The next car will stop, pick it, and get to the bin dedicated to plastic material, to the disposal of plastic materials, to dispose it there where it belongs. So basically, that I would say that that is substantive the substantive spirit that made it possible. And after that, once you have created the mindset, you put in place regulation that accompany it so that everyone goes by it. But the good news that it has gradually become like a habit that people living in Kigali want to, have seen it as a how do I put it, as one of the hallmarks about the city, staying clean and staying clean and considering that as well something really challenging that people may think. So the choices we make as communities, as government, and so on and so forth. But something else I would add on is that part of our policies, the environment is part of sustainable management of the environment is part of our pillars to achieve sustainable development. So it's clearly spelled out in our policies, and this owing to the deliberate change of mindset contributed to making sure that our city, capital city, but also our communities, our neighborhoods, be it in other urban areas or in rural areas, are kept clean and neat. And this comes, of course, with other benefits, many benefits. Some have indicated that benefits that trickle down, which everyone will be concerned to achieve as well. So thank you. Those were my few remarks.
Thank you, Silver. Please, let's remind ourselves that this is a business summit. 0 questions on politics. Let's concern ourselves to business.
Now, Dr. Kanimo asked something concerning tax and ease of doing business. Again, His Excellency talked about policy. When you talk about policy, in my own view, I think Nigeria has one of the highest number of policies in Africa. That's my personal view, really. But again, implementing it. Again, it's not that we don't have a robust tax system, but again, how do we make it work? And I think we have someone in this room who will talk about it. He was in charge of River State Internal Revenue Service. Chief Norton should be able to tell us, is policy our problem? Is implementing this policy our problem? Again, why are we not getting it right?
About the Ogoni Chamber of Commerce, not the first one. I'm no longer in the Internal Revenue Service, so I can't speak for government. But when it comes to taxation, I think that, as I rightly said, it's not a matter of policy. I think we have quite a number of policies to drive taxes. One of the things that's happened in the past few years was, in say River State, we tried to have what we call invisible revenue drive. We never wanted the kind of tax regime where people had to go and put nails and stuff on the road. So what that means is that it's about implementation. And I think that the other bit is with the taxpayer. There are a lot of problem with the fact that we don't know which taxes to pay and which we're not to pay. There is a lot of confusion in that area. There are certain taxes that are so that are not to be paid, that are being collected. So how do we solve that? The taxpayer need to be educated. The taxpayer need to know about this. Ask questions. Ask those who are holding business, they'll probably tell you. Ask tax practitioners, they will tell you. And knowledge is power. It will help you to do that. We know that ease of doing business is closely linked to taxation. Is their kinsmen. So, but we need this understanding so that you know when to say no, this, not it. And if you have any doubt, ask questions. The other big which I'll quickly mention is that if people come and you are not sure, ask them to drop demand notice and let them go. If there is nothing in the law in any law, tax law, that says that they should just come and ask you to pay here and now. Let them drop their demand notice and go. Then seek help, get information. You'll probably be able to handle it when they show up again. My colleague is here. In fact, my boss is here. So he's going to perhaps put in a few words. Alhaji Amisu Mohammed Ibrahim. They call him in the tax circle HR. As you heard, he's the state coordinator and controls all the taxes at the federal level, from this part all the way to Delta.
Good afternoon, gentlemen and ladies, His Excellency, the President, and other protocols observed. There is no how business will strive without having a conducive environment for it to happen. And every tax authority is always cautious of what will impact on the businesses. And the very first thing that really happens to businesses and operation is the policies from government or developed by government, and how friendly they are to the businesses that are supposed to pay these taxes. So if the policies are a bit tough, it will be a bit difficult for them to pay these taxes. And again, if there is no proper collaboration between the tiers of government collecting these taxes, then the businesses cannot strive. So, what is the intention of the government? The intention of the government is to ensure that the environment is very conducive for taxes to be paid, and there should be collaboration between the tiers of government responsible for collecting these taxes. So there are impacts that will affect businesses if there is no cooperation between these tiers of government, that is from the local council, from the state, and the federal. If each of them will work separately, the bearer of the brunt is the business, because they will overpay, pay more than what they are supposed to pay, without really paying as the law says it should be paid. So the question asked by the doctor is very key to the survival of businesses. And from the federal point of view, we've identified these things I've said. One, ease of doing business cannot be very effective if the tax laws that depend on these businesses are not amended. We have the one-stop shop in the investment council, a unit that a foreigner can go, or a foreign investor can go to register his business at a go. Yes, that office is there, and they'll tell you within 24 hours you will be able to register, just like Rwanda, that you can do under 6 hours, right? you'll be shocked to see that because of that lack of cooperation, you won't be able to achieve that. Every state operates on it.
Maybe, once again, we can even keep in touch with you if you're so much interested in that. We can share with you copies of those regulations, of code of harassment and so on and so forth, for your perusal and confirmation of what I've had to share with you. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, permit me, I had said earlier that would be the last two questions. But
I'm managing director of an enterprise that is into farming and manufacturing. What I really want to find out is, I was in Kigali in 2018, and I know you don't have any refinery. You bring all your power from, petroleum products from Dar es Salaam and all that. I want to know, what is the power supply? You almost have 24 hours power supply in Rwanda. How do you generate the electricity? Because without electricity, you cannot manufacture anything. And for some of us that are into manufacturing, to move, it will make more sense that I move my production from Nigeria to Rwanda if I'm sure that I have a better power supply at a cheaper rate. So I'd like you to explain to us, what is your source of power? Is it through the gas, or is it through wind, or what? I just want to know. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, thank you. Once again, that investment was deliberately made in power generation and distribution to facilitate proper running of sectors that need power, like manufacturing, hospitality, and others. So the main source of power generation in Rwanda is hydropower, but we have also been tapping one resource that is available in one of our inland lakes, Lake Kivu, which is methane gas. Which has been tapped to generate power as well. But then, in addition to power generated in Rwanda, maybe before I get to that, I want to also let you know that where we are now came a long way. There was a time we had to resort to generating power using heavy fuel energy, whatever. You understand what I mean? Heavy fuel, the last word is leaving me, I'm sorry. But it was these were capacity to generate renewable power. We phased those out. They were costly and they were also damaging the environment, and that went against our deliberately chosen policy to associate development and proper management of the environment. So we phased those out as we increase our capacity. Now, the internal capacity has definitely gone to a point where we can say we are okay, but we haven't fulfilled all our needs. This made it necessary to connect offshore. Maybe I'll be confusing, but to connect with power generated in other countries, yes, from our neighboring countries, and we're still working on that. You all know about, for instance, the project in Ethiopia, the Renaissance Dam, which is aiming at generating more than 4,000 megawatts. The idea is, and we have been in discussions with concerned states, including Ethiopia, once that dam will be completed, it's a source of power that we can pull into Rwanda to complement what we have been able to do. So that's what we try to do. But I want the bottom line is that I want to assure you that efforts were made to ensure that power at affordable cost for strategic sectors that are part of our wealth creation ecosystem is supplied constantly and in a reliable manner. Thank you.
And thank you so much, Your Excellency. Thank you so much, sir. Now, we're gradually winding down this talk show. We have a very important announcement for you, and that will be taken by the President of the Chamber of Commerce and Industry.
What that means is that you'll have an opportunity to engage with them one-on-one or as a group, so that some of your concerns can be addressed in that forum. Is that clear to us? So that offers us, everybody, an opportunity to meet with him. In fact, tomorrow he has an engagement to stay on the chambers. So never worry that you are not asked to make contribution. I'm hungry, so come on.
Thank you so much, sir.
Your Excellency, Chairman Asima, Chairman of the Chamber of Commerce, President Rivers Entrepreneur Investment, Vice President Asima, members of the High Table, I stand on the existing people. I wish to say a big thank you to all participants in our summit today. This summit wouldn't have been possible without you people here. So I say a big thank you to you. To all our contributors and people who supported us financially and otherwise, we say a big thank you. All we have achieved here, we will move forward. We will not just end here, I can assure you that. We'll have more summits and interactive sessions. We'll bring in more investors to talk with us and see how we can extend our businesses outside Port Harcourt. I wish you all safe journey back to your various destinations. And may God bless all of you. Thank you.
And thank you our sincere appreciation to the Ogoni Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and also to Reif, Rivers Entrepreneur Investment Forum. Now again,
so gentlemen, let's go. Who's taking the first shot?
What's the takeaway from this engagement with the business community here in Rivers State? What are you going to take back to the head official of the country from this particular engagement?
Thank you very much. My takeaway is, first of all, the will from the membership of the chambers, the Ogoni Chambers, Commerce and Industry that attended this forum to connect with one another. This gave us an opportunity to unveil opportunities that are available for them to tap as we mutually work together towards promoting trade and investment between the two. So I saw that will, and we will keep engaging so that this can transform into concrete action. Another thing that I take away is to do with what the value of the recently established Africa Free Continental Trade Area. It's evident that its implementation will be a game changer. And of course, for this to happen, there are a lot of underlying factors that also have to be improved, looked into and improved. And then we will be looking forward to proper change African trading within our continent and competing with the rest of the world.
Do you mind to give us some of these facts?
Someone mentioned here
a situation whereby you could afford to have a tax holiday for 7 years. It's huge. So we have to juxtapose that with what we have or what we have here in Nigeria and in Riverside. And if you look at that, you find out that our businesses could actually thrive in other countries. So we think the government of Nigeria should be able to sit up and improve upon the incentives for businesses to thrive. That's basically what it is.
I'd like for you to address the tax issue, the lack of synergy between the federal and the federal government.
Yes, that is very, very important, because when there are no synergies between the federal government and the state government, it simply means that we, the investors, the taxpayers, are obviously going to be the ones that would be the fallback, because we're going to end up paying for the negligences from the point of view of the federal government and the state government not being able to come together and have a single window. We've always called for a single window when it comes to taxes. When you harmonize taxes, you make your ease of doing business in your society to become a lot more. So we're calling on the federal government to work with the state government to see that they have a single agenda on tax collection. If they do that, it's going to improve upon the ease of doing business in Nigeria.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, gentlemen of the press. Thank you so much.